Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, and we're going to have to obviously look at XRP. I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal what's been going on here. And for many of us, obviously, we're quite glad of the fact that we did sell on the way up of this pump. But at the same time, kind of getting a little bit excited about how far it's going to go. Now, at the moment, it's definitely not a wise idea to be buying any of this right now. Everywhere's delisting it, including Coinbase. So I've never seen, I don't think it's ever happened before, to see Coinbase delist anything. So this is a big deal. In fact, it's a massive deal. So you not be able to get your hands on XRP through Coinbase is unbelievable. But it's happened. And maybe this is the way it's going to go, you know, for other tokens. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But for the moment, what we're going to do is we're going to see how far this is going to drop. Now, when we look at indicators on this, this has definitely got more room to go. I mean, most people will be looking at the RSI going, well, look, you know, it's dropped, and, you know, when we drop down to these levels, we do pick up. The RSI isn't a single one indicator on its own, and yes, it does suggest that we are oversold, but that doesn't mean that it can't go any further. My favourite thing to look at would be this, which is the money flow index, which is not broken down outside of the comfort zone. You see that this area here was the area to sell from, and I often use this as an area to spot a top. So this was a good area to spot a top, and relatively successful in doing that. This was an area to spot a top, relatively successful. So was this one, relatively successful. And we can also spot a low when we see the opposite of that happening. So we see this breakdown outside of the comfort zone, is what I call it, and breakdowns beneath there would signify maybe not a bottom, but a decent bounce from that level. And as you can see, we're nowhere near the bottom at the moment. We've seen lower reads than that before without any of this kind of craziness going on. So personally, this isn't, you know, as tempting as it might be, this isn't an area to be buying at, especially with everything that's going on. So what could possibly be that area? Well, I mean, let's zoom out and we'll concentrate on something that we've not looked at in a long time, but now it's going to become more and more relevant. We're going to have to look at this descending trend line again, aren't we, I suppose, and we'll see how far this is going to take us. And this, you know, this might sound ridiculous and this might sound crazy, but this is now going to be something that we're going to have to think about. So this is the parabolic move descending trend line that signifies the end of the consolidation phase, bringing us all the way down to essentially a zero. In fact, if we were to get to it's not looking good. This could end up being a zero, if anyone could believe that. I'm not saying that it is going to be a zero, but I mean, at this moment in time, if we were to drop down all the way down to that level, then it would be a zero. So actually this is essentially obsolete. We can't look at that anymore. So what do we need to look at now? Which is the only thing we've got to go by is previous supports and resistance for what they're worth, and wait for other indicators to tell us that there is perhaps maybe a bottom forming, which in my view at the moment doesn't look like there is likely to be a bottom forming anytime soon. Let's get a blue box and we'll have a look at some of these other areas. So we seem to have had a bottom here the other day, and perhaps maybe revisit that, and maybe even today, and that would correspond to that top there. And we also have historically nothing else really below that, I mean above that area within this zone. So that would probably be the zone, our next zone to bump around into, and below here it would be absolutely devastating, and it could quite easily happen. I've never, like I say, this is a first for crypto, so I've never seen something like this before. A top cap altcoin of such prevalence, you know, in the market, whether or not you like it or hate it, this is a big deal. It's a big deal fundamentally for cryptocurrency, and it's a bit of a warning sign about what could possibly happen next within the market. So if we get swallowed into this zone, our bottom area is going to be around about 17.5 to basically 21.5, which is where we're bouncing from right now. Again, I'm not looking for any massive moves on this one right now. This is basically going to be playing itself out now, probably for a while. If we remember, and we'll have a look actually on the Matic chart, because this is actually ending up looking and feeling a little bit like Matic. What happens is, when you have such a big giant move like this and then a giant crash like that, it essentially breaks the chart. It makes it very hard to read the technical analysis. So this is the last pump that we had, and we golden cross 4 hourly all the way up, and then massive crash back down. in order for us to reaccumulate. What needs to happen is these moving averages basically have to sort of, I suppose, get crushed closer and closer together, converging basically to the point where it's neither here nor there, up and below, but not making any dramatic highs or any dramatic lows, and that's basically the accumulation. Now we've only just firstly got our cross here, so judging by the last time this sort of thing happened, we had our cross here, a big drop down, and then we sort of danced around an accumulation zone of what looks to me about 15 to 20%, 20% area, and that is basically the reaccumulation zone. So we go back to the daily. Our reaccumulation zone could be this zone here, and if it breaks down below here, then basically I would say that it's game over. It could quite easily be game over at that point. I mean, the only way that this could be resolved is through the resolve of the whole situation. And at the moment, if people aren't able to buy, I know it's only America, but who knows what comes next. You know, every other day there seems to be something else against XRP, so I would say that it's like a snowball effect at this point, and it could quite easily pick up pace. Personally, you know, if you do have money in this, it's not for me to say what to do or what not to do. I mean, I made most of my money in this historically. You know, I bought this when it was about 3.5 cents, and sold it when it was about $2.50. So I was always very happy with that, and I've studied the market cycle, which is how I was able to get in on this pump and this pump, and I always knew that this pump would sell off, but I didn't think it would sell off further than this zone. I thought this would be the zone where it would bounce from, but clearly there are other powers at work that basically render technical analysis kind of obsolete. I mean, it does serve a purpose to an extent. Even now, you can use certain tools to spot trend reversals, bounce opportunities, but basically there is greater forces at work which render these wiggly lines kind of obsolete in a way. So very difficult for me to say what's going to happen to this at this point and how far it's going to go down at this point. Personally, I wouldn't be buying in here. I wouldn't be buying until I see this money flow index break below this zone, which could bring us all the way down to 10 cents or something. Who knows where it's going to take us, but those areas could possibly be an opportunity. For the moment, there's no opportunity here. The only thing we can do is stand back and watch. Now, if we go and have a look at the Bitcoin chart, just to have an idea of what's going on with Bitcoin, Bitcoin on the daily looks like it wants to come back down to test these zones here. So we're talking 25.5 to 25 flat. Probably find a bounce around there. But if these areas do break for whatever reason, which I don't think they will, but if they were to break, then yeah, I'll be talking at a lower level, at around about 22.5, and then we can decide whether or not that there's a bigger downward pressure on this. Now, I've been calling for an alt season to take place around mid-January, and that I suppose still remains to be seen. Some of these altcoins that I've been looking at, they say on their charts that that's what they want to do, but a lot of it is going to depend on the way that this chart works out. This chart looks bullish. It looks actually pretty bullish. Now, we have had a rejection from this zone here, and that's fine. The last time we were rejected within this zone, we did consolidate from that area quite dramatically, but you know, there are different things at play. It was a 15% retracement. That's not too bad from there to there. And if we were to work out all the way down to this bit, it was a 21.5% retracement. Do I think that that's likely to happen at this point? Not the way that it's going now. We've got a weekly Ichimoku cloud cross. That's bullish. We are still positive on the monthly Ichimoku cloud from back here, back in 2019, early 2019. So all of that is still positive. So all of that still looks bullish for Bitcoin dominance. Does it fall back to this descending trend and test that support, or maybe the top of the Ichimoku cloud around 67? Possibly. And this will obviously cause relief rallies. There's still Ethereum is still going strong, but personally, with the absence of XRP, of the market cap, which is it's a massive market cap, then we are probably looking for this to push back up to this zone. Rejections of this size need to be a bit more aggressive than what we've seen already, which is, you know, it's not much at all. And again, you know, positive on every time frame, bullish on every time frame. We have to start to break down, at least on the daily, for me to work out, you know, if there's going to be any major big move. This could be something that plays out. So a very first telltale sign is a fresh Ichi Cloud conversion baseline cross on the 4 hourly. So this could spark continuation. Again, January is only days away, and I'm thinking, from what I can see on my charts, it's around mid-January, 14th and onwards, that some of these charts that I've been trading and stocking up on look like they want to go. So this could be the very first telltale sign that we are going to have a bit of a retracement. But with most of the charts looking bullish on the longer term time frames, this is probably only going to give us relief rallies. And not an alt season. Alt season will begin if we come back within this channel and continue down, and especially if we get negative crosses on these itchy clouds on the longer term time frames, which we don't have. I think the dominance chart is looking stronger now than it probably has done, in a couple of years actually. Never mind. Well, anyway, all I needed to tell you is that Bitcoin looks a little bit droopy. We pushed to 27. I don't think we're going to make 28. We're certainly not going to make 30,000 this year. And there is a very strong chance that this could spark a downtrend or another consolidation from this zone. Consolidation, if it's healthy and slow, it will allow for that dominance to probably decrease a little bit. And for us to start to make some moves. But the first thing I would say, first and foremost, is for those people who are interested in XRP, hold your breath. Don't go buying in just because it's cheap. They can always go cheaper than this, as we've seen already. It basically just goes down and down and down and down and down. 72% retracement from that all-time high there. So the video I made yesterday basically was a bit of an overview of the market cycle, and something like this isn't out of the ordinary for the market cycle. We did see a fake out of the same kind of magnitude on the last market cycle around 2017, the beginning of 2017. We saw a similar move to this. We saw a giant big move up and about a 75% retracement on the way down, and then it consolidated for about 4 months, and then it launched massively. Really big. So as far as that market cycle video is concerned, with or without the SEC news, this, if I was to look at this chart on its own, I would be a little bit surprised, in all fairness, to see that happen. But it still coincides with an exact carbon copy of the first consolidation period after that fake out. And there was a giant fake out. You'll have to watch the videos if you're interested, but that's what happened in 2017. We spent 3 years going down from 2013 into 2017. Then we had a giant fake out and a 75% retracement, similar to this basically. Then we spent a few more months going sideways, consolidating, reaccumulating, and then we've moved back up again dramatically. It was like a 7,000% move. So bear all of that in mind. That's something to be to consider and to be aware of, that even though we see this and it looks like it's going to die, it might not be completely dead. And in fairness, it probably isn't dead, but it's certainly not something I'd want to buy yet. I'd want to see how far it can go. It's broken down beneath this zone here, it's now broken down beneath this, and now it's on our last stand before we come back down to 10 cent. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there, but thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Join my Telegram and have a nice week. Take it easy.